In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, the sun, the stars, and the moon. But of all the celestial bodies, with all of their splendor and glory, the moon is by far the most intriguing of them all, full of mystique, mystery, and almost magical in nature. The question is, why? And the answer is, the moon is the one that closely resembles the life of a human being. Hi, I am Dr. Abraham Skalo Khumalo. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining me once again today. If you are new to my channel, let me ask you to head over to YouTube. My channel is called Skalo Khumalo, and on that platform you will find all of my previous videos. Kindly go through them. Hopefully you will find a couple that might be of assistance in your life at this moment. Let me also state that I am available on TikTok and that you can also catch me on Facebook. Now, I would like to give you just a brief history of the moon. You see, my friends, the moon, its beginnings is that it went through a period of hardships, a period of turbulence, a period of violence, when rocks landed and collided with the moon. That is why when you look outside today, when you gaze at the night sky, when you see the moon, you will notice that the surface of the moon, although it's glowing, you will realize that there is a lightish grayish part and there is that dark grayish part. The dark grayish part is where the craters of the moon are. It is where the rocks landed. And so that is the history of the moon. But one thing that I like about the moon is that it is resilience. It is resilient. It is a symbol of resilience, of persistence, of standing your ground. So in this video, I hope to encourage you to stand your ground and also for you to discover more about this topic. Thank you so much. You see, my friend, when you look at the moon, it tells a story of a violent past, a turbulent beginning, hardships, a time when the moon was going through a period when rocks, gigantic stones, meteors fell on the surface of the moon, leaving it with deep craters, deep scars that are still visible even today. Whenever we gaze and we look up at the night sky and we see the full moon in all of its glory and in all of its splendor, and we can see those darkish grayish area, that is the area of the craters. It reminds us of where the rocks landed on the moon. Similarly, we too also, we may have upbringings or we may have a past that I'm not proud of. I may have made mistakes. My friends, listen, maybe you may have disappointed certain people in your life. Maybe you disappointed your parents. They took you to school, to varsity, and when you got there, you didn't use that opportunity. You went back home with no results. And that is still a pain in your life to this day. Maybe you were in a marriage and through your own shortcomings and your own faults, you may have caused your marriage to dissolve. And that is still a pain in your life today. Maybe you were given a job opportunity by a friend, by your parents, by someone who loved you, only for you to waste that opportunity. Maybe there are certain things in your life that you have done that have caused pain, not only to yourself, but to your friends, to your family, to the broader society. And today, those things still haunt you. Let me say this to you, my friends. You don't have to, simply because of that past, decide that you are unworthy and that nothing good can come out of you. In fact, if you look at the moon, one thing that you realize about the moon is that the moon itself is not the source of light. The light is coming from the sun. It is reflected on the surface of the moon and then it bounces back, comes to us here on earth, and we see it. Similarly, you yourself, you are not the source of light. The source of light is the Lord God Almighty, and He can shine His light. All that you have to do is to receive it. And as you receive it, you allow it to come to you, and then you release it as well. You allow it to leave, to bounce off you and go to the life of another human being. And through you, God can use you to change to have an impact on the lives of people, particularly people who have traveled the same journey as you. So I want to say to you, God is still able to use you today, irrespective of the mistakes that you've made in your past. We all have a past. Yes, some of us, our past is not so glorious. We'd like to keep it hidden, keep it away from the eyes of people. But let me tell you, my brother, let me tell you, my sister, your past must not hold you back. Your past is not a reason for you to give up. Your past is not a reason for you to say, God cannot use me. God cannot use me. That is not a reason. God is willing to use you. And like the moon, you've got to stand strong and tall, because there will come a time for you to glow, for you to be clothed in glory, just like the full moon, and everybody can see the brilliance in you. So I want to encourage you to say that we can learn a lesson from the moon. The lesson that we are learning from the moon is that God does not only use perfect people. In fact, God uses imperfect people. And out of imperfection, there will come perfection. Don't worry about being perfect. By yourself, you cannot be perfect. You can't be perfect. Only the Lord can perfect you. It is His light that shines on you and reflects off you to help other people. So what am I saying? I'm encouraging you, despite of what you've been through in your life, all of your regrets, all of your mistakes, everything that you have done, use that and allow the Lord to use that to help you and to help those who are around you. Let your life glow beautifully like the moon in its full splendor. The full moon glows bright for everyone to see on earth. Similarly, let your story glow for everyone to see on earth, and let everybody appreciate you for who you really are. Let me just conclude this topic by saying, when we look at the moon is an imperfect object which we can also see from Earth. It is 1,000 of kilometers away from us, but we can see its imperfections. But the one thing that we learn from the moon is that despite all of its imperfections, it stands out there receiving the light from the sun and reflecting it back to us here on earth. Similarly, we also are not perfect human beings. We are full of imperfections. But like the moon, we should also stand tall and accept our imperfections, learn from our mistakes, but also allow the Lord to use us with our imperfections and our mistakes. So I'd like to encourage you. Maybe you've had a difficult journey in life. Maybe you've made a lot of mistakes which you regret, but that is not a reason for you to give up. I believe that the Lord can still use each and every one of us with all of our previous mistakes, provided that we are willing to learn from our mistakes and we are willing to embrace our future. Thank you so much for joining us. I believe that the Lord is capable of using you and wants to use you. Just avail yourself and you will see what the Lord will do in your life. It's going to be glorious and magnificent for everyone to see on earth. Thank you. I'll see you again next time. Ciao.